Hello and welcome to another episode of Wonders and Blunders. It's almost the end of February, which means we're almost back into the sun. But before we get into today's episode, I've got to read the names of some people who keep my life sunny year-round. Our patrons: Al White, GS Troop 969, Skylar Flowers, Ryland Command, Chris Ice, and Dylan Pilgrim. Thank you so much. Hudson Miles, Christopher Dunn, Ian Ford, Gullatice, Matthew Smets, and Miri Rain. You're melting my emotional snow. Michael Polad, Jason Campbell, Michelle White, Noreen Elizabeth, and Robert Andrews. You might as well be a beach vacation. David Forsey, Cheryl N., Chelsea Dab, and Shell Scott. If you were the sun, I wouldn't wear sunscreen, because I would trust you not to fire harmful radiation at me. As always, we can't thank you enough, but I won't keep you from today's episode any longer. Enjoy!
I think from a room down the hall, you hear yipping and yapping of a dog barking, and you can hear Ben laughing.
And then I think behind you, Valen, you just hear like a click, 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 and then a baff, baff, and you see Garlic.
Sorry, my brain is. I was in the middle of trying to write down the party reputation and listen at the same time.
So yeah, Ben comes. A door opens and Ben comes out with a small black dog, and he's kind of running around and jumping and playing with it, and it's barking and jumping and.
Benjamin.
Oh, hey, good morning.
Who is this?
This is Backflip.
Backflip.
Yeah. I think I'll call him Backflip.
Oh. And,
Yeah.
Where did Backflip come from?
2 dogs now?
Oh, we found him. He was a stray in the night market. And Star said I could have him, and so I took him home. And he slept with me last night. He's a little bitey,
Bitey.
but we can train that out of him. Backflip, sit. And I think Backflip has disappeared.
Are you going to expect Bito to be feeding Backflip as well?
Yeah, or me, or whoever.
I mean, he's been doing a good job so far. Why would he?
That's not very considerate, Benjamin.
Considerate of what? Well, no, it's very considerate because he was living on the street and he was eating garbage, and we can take care of him in here.
Fido's busy with, making traps.
Well, then I'll take care of him. We can take care of him. He'll be okay. He's a good boy.
He does seem like a good boy.
Yeah, Valen kneels down and gives him some scritches.
Yeah, he is darting all over the place and just tearing around the house, and now Garlic is chasing him, and they're both just sprinting in circles around the house. But every once in a while it does stop and kind of look up at each one of you and kind of clock your face and then just keep running. And they both just disappear down the hallway, and then you hear just and then Bito just screaming no! Oh, the nightmares have come true! And then the two of them, holding onto one of his feet each, drag him across the hallway into another room as he's just claws into the ground trying to hold on.
I think, Ben, you might need to get leashes for them. And
That's a good idea. Okay. I'm sure maybe Bri can make some. Or I could help her make some.
You were out with Star and Bri, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday?
Yes.
Did you all come back together?
No.
Do you know where they are or what they were heading to do?
No. We split up. They told me to go home, and I left after we were at the night market with Uncle Yuri, and Uncle Yuri and I, we came back together with Backflip. Yeah, I was gonna go buy us some vegetables. and some food. And make breakfast, I think. I don't know.
As long as it's not turnips.
Right.
And
Okay.
Yes, something green.
take
Sure.
the dogs.
Well, I don't have leashes yet. And they don't listen to me.
All right. Get something to make leashes with.
We must have some rope lying around.
By
oh, yeah.
though,
Okay.
dragging around the house all the time.
And he's just like, he gets dragged down the hallway, and then you just hear like thump, 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 like down all the stairs.
Are Light or Sky around?
Yeah, they would be. I think they've been working on like cleaning up the tabaxi space. So, like, I think Light is halfway up a chimney, like cleaning out the chimney so that they can get a fire lit. And Sky has all of the cushions off one of the couches in there and is like out in the front, just like trying to smack all the turnip smoke out of them.
Where did you find all these Moroccan rugs that you're hanging on the wall?
Oh, we take these everywhere.
Installing scratch posts.
Most of our job is carrying Moroccan rugs.
Have either of you seen Star?
No, obviously he is taking his time coming home to skip all of the chores that we have to do. He just expects to come home, and then all of the beds are set up, and all of the couches are set up, and then he can just wander in whenever he wants and just lie down and go to sleep and not think about any of the responsibilities that he's dumped on the rest of us.
Pretty rude.
Yes. Of course, yes. He should do his share of the chores.
Have you eaten yet? We're going to go out and get some breakfast, I think. Before our meeting. Do you want to join us?
Okay. Yeah, I guess. Well, we'll get vegetables later.
On the same trip? Surely we'll pass something.
Well, I think all the food's in the night market, so I can show you how to get back there, because I saw where the exit was when I left.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
La-di-da.
I'm not sure if
By the transient
that's-
property, if I'm here, I must have seen where to go in
Well,
the
that
night
doesn't
market.
work because you were in there at one point, and that rule did not line up. I
sure hope
think
we
I
didn't
think
leave
yeah,
how
if
we
you
got
came
in.
home with Yuri would have shown you.
I'm not sure that the produce at the night market is the best.
I think
Perhaps we head down to the trades.
or the jungle.
Yes, the jungle would have the freshest.
Cool.
What time was our? Where is Rowan? I'm gonna go knock on Rowan's door.
Oh, yeah, all right.
If I know where that is in this house.
I think you knock on a lot of doors.
Yeah. And
Rowan.
Rowan.
yeah, eventually the door to the top room, the one that we found those kids in first, that one opens kind of slowly, sort of squeaks on the hinges, and Rowan steps out, and he's pretty disheveled. He's got his armor off, and his shirt has like some drying sweat, and like his eyes are really puffy, and he's got his hands kind of like tucked away out of sight, and he kind of exits the room, keeping the door really closed, and kind of closes it behind him without letting anybody have a look inside. And he just sort of looks at you guys sheepishly, and is quiet for a while, and just kind of blinking at you guys, and then kind of croaks out, "Any coffee downstairs yet?"
Well, we were going to head out for breakfast, and I came to ask if you could remember what time were we supposed to meet those children at Danny's?
children. Oh yeah.
Was that a brunch meeting?
No, I think it was later, wasn't it? Like maybe 2 or 3 or something.
That does sound familiar. Are you okay, Rowan?
Oh, me? Yeah. Oh, Peachy. Yeah. And he's like kind of walking now.
Do you have trouble sleeping?
Yeah, you might say that. And he passes you guys, but then kind of spins on his heels and looks at you, Ben. And his eyes are a bit wider now, and it's almost a little startling. He's like, "Oh, Ben, now you can track objects, can't you?"
Yeah.
And he like points at you, and you see that his hands are a little bit scratched and bruised as well. He's like, "You can track objects, okay?" And then he looks at the rest of you guys, and then kind of puts his arm around you, Ben, and kind of pulls you just a little bit away from everybody else. And he's like, "Listen, well, Ben, could you maybe do me a favor without asking too many questions? It's just a small favor."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess actually, technically, it's 2, but they're really small. The first one is to not comment maybe on the state of the room I'm about to bring you into.
Okay.
Okay. And then he'll look at you guys and be like, "Give us like maybe 5 minutes." And then he kind of pulls Ben into the room and closes the door. And the room is in a state. There are boxes tossed everywhere and like boards broken up and just things strewn about the place. It's just chaos except for the Speak with Dead ring in the middle, which is just immaculate. Nothing's touched it. Nothing's crossed into any of the lines, but the rest of the room has clearly been trashed. Okay, see the crossbow, my crossbow, on the floor. And he's scratching his eyebrow pretty heavily. Like little eyebrow hairs are falling down. Okay, could you maybe track that bolt when I fire it?
I think Kara is outside the door leaning on it.
Yeah. Ben just needs to prepare his spells for the day.
I mean, if it's trouble, say so, and maybe I can find a different.
I can.
Maybe a string
try.
or something. I don't know.
There it is.
And he's pacing now.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And Ben is like, we can. I can try.
Okay.
I can try. And can I here? And he holds out his like feathered, like, you know, his weird owl hand.
Right.
His weird owl claw hand.
Yeah, and Rowan goes to shake it before. Oh, so distracted. I can't touch the crossbow though. I can't move it.
Oh. Okay. Is there a bolt in?
Yeah, it's loaded and yeah, and if you
Okay.
go to touch it, he's like, careful you don't move it though.
Okay. And yeah, Ben is very.
And now he's biting his nails, and I don't think anyone's ever seen him bite his nails.
Okay. So yeah, Ben is like looking, or like has his head turned around, looking back at Rowan, and then his head flips around, and he's just gonna inspect the bolt. And okay. How are you gonna fire it if you can't touch it?
Well, I'm going to pull the trigger. I just can't. I just got to be careful not to move it. And he looks at his shaking hands, and he's like, well, maybe Ben, maybe there's a third favor in here. Maybe you need to fire it without moving it. And like his hand's shaking. And then he'll look at the window and be like, oh, no, that's not going to work. Okay, well, house, well, I mean, if the kid's been doing this, you know what? I'll ask forgiveness. And then he'll huck one of the broken boards through the window.
So everyone outside definitely hears that.
Yeah.
Just the glass smash.
I feel like if Kara's got her ear up to the door, she can probably hear most of it.
I think I'm going to, if there's a crack that'll let like a ferret under the door or something, I'll turn into like a weasel and
Never gets easier.
So much halfling to compress into a weasel.
and sort of wedge myself under the door so I can figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
seems
Yes, that's fine. I'll just wait out here.
and Kara speaks into your head.
I'll let you know. I'm just a bit worried.
Yeah, Valen is still just like looking through his notes, trying to figure out what time that meeting was.
Yeah. And yeah, I think you are momentarily distracted as just another like, "Ah!" and the two dogs drag Fido by again. Yeah, so you smash the window out. The glass kind of goes tinkling onto the streets below. You hear a couple of just like, oh, and people move on as they see what happens.
Yeah, Kara, as you come in, you see me like kicking away bits around the bottom edge and stuff. And yeah, and you know what? He's so distracted. He probably doesn't actually even notice you coming into the room.
Not a good sign.
And then he's like, "Okay, now, Ben, don't, for the love of the trees, don't move that crossbow. Just fire it off, would you?"
So it's just laying on the ground?
It's just laying on a little like a small dais or plinth or something in the middle of this spell circle.
Okay. Yeah, so Ben attempts to fire the crossbow without moving it. So he's just going to very gingerly...
So just make ranged attack. I'll just count that as how well you have control over the crossbow to not move it while shooting it.
I got a 6.
6. Okay. Rowan, I think you are like hyper focused on watching Ben. And you see just like maybe one of the owl claws. Like what do you think what moves it? Because you definitely don't shoot it completely straight.
Yeah, I think it's like Ben. He places like a thumb against the back of it, and he doesn't, trying not to move it. He doesn't grip the handle. He pinches, and it just the tension and trying to get it to release. Well, it just shifts. Yeah.
And I think it kind of goes off like a mousetrap. Like if you're not like holding it in place, it just sort of like flips upwards as all that tension is released. And the crossbow bolt just goes sailing out the window out of sight.
And then Ben will cast, he's going to look at Rowan with like just apologies on his big stupid bird face.
Yeah. Rowan turned as fast as he could to try to watch the bolt go out. Like he's now trying to find the bolt in the air. So his back is turned. He's like leaning out the window. He's got one hand over his eyes, like blocking the light, and he's got his other hand gripping the window frame, and he's like leaning out the window. And he's like, I don't see it. Do you see it? Did it work? Can you track it? I don't. Do you know where it's out there? Can you see where it's going? Ben, do you know where it's going?
Ben's gonna and close his eyes and cast locate object. Describe or name an object that is familiar to you. Sense the direction of the object's location as long as it's within 1,000 feet. If it's in motion, you know the direction.
1,000 feet. Yeah, a crossbow can't shoot 1,000 feet, I don't believe. So it would definitely be within range. So you can feel a connection with it. And Rowan, I think like you do kind of lose it as it sails over, but you can see that like where this attic is, this window like extends out into a tower, which is quite a bit higher than the surrounding houses.
Oh.
So it does kind of sail over a bunch of the houses and then disappear.
Okay.
And if you were like leaning all the way out the window, you can see below there's some people like kicking glass out of the street, and they're kind of like shooting looks up at you.
Yeah. So Rowan is quiet for a second, and then he'll sort of spin around. He's like, okay, yeah, it moved, but that's all right. I mean, maybe he accounted for that. Maybe that was all part of the situation. I mean, how do you fire a crossbow without moving it a little bit, right?
Rowan,
I mean, that can't.
Rowan,
it's probably okay, So if
Uncle,
you know where
Uncle Rowan,
yeah.
What's going on? What's happening?
Well, and he looks out the window and he'll look back and he'll look around the trashed room, kind of as if he's seeing it for the first time. He's like, well, I saw Teak.
Your brother?
Oh, yeah.
Where? Is it he told you to fire this crossbow?
No, he didn't say anything. He just in the room, I used a spell circle. Somehow, and then, and then it didn't work, and then it did, and then he was there, and then yeah. And then we didn't talk, but I talked, and he moved the crossbow to point, but I didn't think about it then because he was here, and I should have thought about it. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. I didn't think about it until this morning, and he was here, and he moved the crossbow to point at something, which can help. I just don't know what, and I know I should have thought about it then, but I didn't think about it then. I was just, I missed him, I miss him. So it was just something, and I just, well, you know how it is. You know how it is.
And Ben is just gonna walk over and give Rowan a hug. Yeah, I know. But if you got to see him again, that's pretty cool. And he's trying to bring you on another adventure. So I'm sorry I moved it, but yeah, maybe should we go check where the boat landed?
And as you are thinking that, you lose your connection with it.
Yeah, and Ben's eyes like widened, and he looks surprised and embarrassed. And he says, "I lost it. It was right there, and it's I can't feel it anymore, Rowan."
I think at this point, Kara is going to uncrunch herself.
Oh God. Speaking of mousetrap.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I intruded, but you really didn't seem okay, Rowan. Where did it go? Where did you lose track of it, Ben?
Can I tell where it was?
Yes, yeah, you do know the direction that it was.
Okay, come on. And Ben runs past you guys. He's still in like his just like night clothes. Working on your night clothes. And he runs into his bedroom, and he just runs out with his shield. And like he's pulling on a pair of boots. Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Are we going?
Rowan, we don't know this place very well, and I think it would be a good idea for you to wear your armor.
He'll look down at himself. He's been speechless the whole time. But his eyes are kind of wet. And he'll sort of look down and kind of pat his stomach and just nod and then look about the room trying to find it.
Do we have time to put on your arm?
Can you remember where it went?
Yeah, but if someone took it, they might be close.
I think what we have is a direction.
And like Ben is like bouncing at the top of the stairs. And he's just looking between you two guys.
Valen, I think we need to make a detour.
Where to?
We got to find a crossbow bolt.
We need to look into something for Rowan's brother.
Teak fired it.
For Teak?
Well, no,
yes,
Teak
of course.
showed us where to find it. Is this okay to say, Rowan?
You spoke with him.
Yeah, Rowan's got his arms up and like his armor is sort of like halfway down over it, and like he's kind of trying to squeeze it on faster, but it's one of those like more haste, less hurry situations. And so you sort of hear half muffled.
Yes, with all haste.
Yeah. So Ben is gonna put on his armor too. Put on my armor.
Okay.
If Rowan's put on his armor, I'll put on my armor.
Okay, so as you finish suiting up and heading towards the front door, you pass two skeletons who are rolling a big circular window up all the stairs, grumbling to themselves.
Good work, guys.
Damn kids are back. It's terrible. But good thing we got so many of these downstairs. And yeah, rolling it up, like taking great care. And then, yeah, Bido comes screaming up the stairs, running away from the dogs, and smashes through it, keeps running, and they're just like, and head back down to get another one. And then as you step out into the street outside, I think this is when Star and Bri would rejoin. So if you just want to take a second to say what the two of you look like, as you roll back up to the house.
Do we rejoin together?
I would
I
say
like the
you're
idea.
both coming out of alleyways like on either side
Okay.
and just kind of walking or kind of like staring at each other maybe when everyone else comes outside.
Yeah, so you come out and you see Star, and like Star is like covered in dirt and leaves and twigs, and like his cloak that he was wearing yesterday is like gone, his shirt is ripped open, and he's like he has one shoe on and his other shoe he's just carrying and just like just like you can see him kind of shaking it, just like looking really mad. And his weapons are gone, and he's just like, he looks like he's just in a foul mood. And he just kind of walks up and then sees everybody walking out, and then just like looks up at them, and then just kind of like looks sheepishly down.
Morning, Star.
Looks like you had a bad night. Are you fit for
An adventure?
anything?
Yeah, he just like,
He frowns.
yeah, he just frowns. Can we at least go and get my can we at least go and get my swords first?
Oh. You lost your swords?
Well, no, I know where they are. I just they're not lost.
Pulls out like a small soaking wet and super dirty ticket.
Yeah, just pulls out a ticket that looks like a ticket from a bar, like the kind of ticket you would give to a coat check. Just pulls out like a very wet ticket, just kind of like, I know where they are.
Yes, of course, Star. But first we've got to help Rowan and Teak.
Here. And Ben just trots up to you and hands you one of your daggers.
Thank you, Benjamin. And then just like slots it in his belt.
What does Bri look like?
On the other side of the alley, you see Bri coming out. She is glistening. She looks like she has been recently cleaned and bathed. She's got a big smile on her face. Her great axe is missing. It's not on her, but over her shoulder, she seems to have this stick wrapped in a cloth, which I think, Valen, you would recognize to be a robe of Zilch's. And she just comes up and she's got a big smile and she's like, "Hi, it's good to see everybody. Zilch's be praised." And she just kind of like ruffles your hairs. How is everyone this morning?
Good. It's been, well, we got an adventure already.
Oh.
Well, not an adventure. We gotta help. We have to help Rowan find his brother's crossbow bolt.
Okay. Where did it go?
Shot it out a window.
Benjamin.
I was supposed to. I was told to.
And Bri just kind of gives you this like disappointed hands on hip look.
Used to that.
Yeah.
No, for serious this time. I was. Rowan, tell her.
Yeah, and Rowan's looking up at the window and like squinting and mumbling and looking kind of in the direction, then sort of absently looks back. Oh, yeah, Bri. No, I asked him to fire it off.
And I was tracking her with a spell, and someone, my spell was working, and then it stopped working. So someone stopped it. So why?
Magic works in mysterious ways.
And
Yes.
Rowan just, Rowan, Ben just slowly looks at you, Valen. Like his head.
Have you made some new friends, Brazizia?
I have made many friends, but for now I would like to avoid as many of them as possible and perhaps get Axe back. I am missing it. This is not same. And Bri just kind of takes it and takes this like bundle of staff and rags and just like throws it in through a window.
Well, So it's they're probably it's still is it still at the bag of rocks with your
That's
swords?
exactly what I was just about to say. It's probably still at the bag of rocks.
Great. How do we get there?
Ooh.
Where is the bag of rocks?
It's in the night. It's in the night market. It's the coolest place.
How do we get there? I don't want to go back the way that we went. The way that we went was not the right way.
No, it's not a good idea. We could wander around again, but
It was.
Does anybody
And like Ben is kind of looking and
when we left, I can't remember much of what happened.
Yes, that was definitely Cassandra's fault.
I was playing with backflip and talking with Uncle Yuri.
Oh, maybe Yuri. Does Yuri know how to get back there?
Well, he
Is
got
Yuri
there in the
inside?
first place.
Is Yuri inside?
No, he was not.
Oh.
Ben, I think you would remember that he was like brought you back here and was disgusted with the situation and went back to his own house.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen his house yet.
Ben, well, do you remember how we got out?
Do I?
Just make like a flat intelligence.
Natural 19. Just 19.
Yeah, so I think you'd have a pretty good idea of how to retrace your steps. I think one of the things you would definitely know is that you took a griffin taxi the last sort of stretch, so you got a pretty good overhead view.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was over that away near the rim, right? It's by the rim.
Yep.
Okay. But
Okay.
should we go investigate?
That is also the direction that the crossbow bolt went.
Oh.
Perfect.
Well, as long as we're going in the same direction, it would probably be wise for us all to be properly armed.
Bri is always armed, but I would like to get Axe back.
Okay, well, if we go this way.
All that matters to me. Valen, could you give me a fluff? You know what I mean? I'm kind
What does he mean?
And like he like looks down and like just covered in twigs and dirt and leaves. I've seen you do this with clothes before. Can you just maybe,
Actually, I haven't prepared that today. Since we were,
Star just goes to like.
it didn't seem as necessary having a solid bedroom to.
I got it.
So
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, I was gonna ask
Didn't
you.
seem necessary.
I forgot to ask you to clean backflip. I'm sure Bido will do that.
Well, okay, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, let's just go. Okay, let's go. I'm ready to go.
Okay, this way. Okay.
Is everyone else ready to go? I'm ready to go. Let's go.
We go.
Yeah. The bed.
Okay.
And like as they walk away, Star is like, by the way, like there's wolverines in the jungles. Like don't just
What does a wolverine look like?
you don't want to know.
It's a hairy guy, yellow suit, gloss.
It's an animal with a name like
Well-
that?
I don't know how to I can't promise you I wouldn't recommend you find one the way I did.
Oh, but if I see it, then if it is as capable as all that, it might be really handy to
Well, it got this away from me, and he holds up his boot.
I
yeah.
would not like to meet animals so tough that it can take Star in combat.
I was incapacitated at the time, without my weaponry, and also under the effects of some sort of drugs. I was adversarially drugged. That was it. Someone must have slipped poison into my drinks, my many drinks.
Poison?
Okay, let's stop talking and just go. Okay.
So you've been making your way across the ashes. There's more. You can actually see that there are notices posted on all of the bulletin boards across that tonight will be that basically it's going to be a rain night. So every once in a while they have to do maintenance on the pipes above, and it releases torrents of water, which come as a torrential downpour of rain, which washes over the ashes. So tonight is one of those nights that they're going to have to do that maintenance. So they're just warning everyone. You make your way towards the night market, which is pretty close to where your house is. And if you continue walking in the direction that Ben is leading you, it leads you right up to the edge of the drop-off of the shaft that leads to the rest of Mox the Rain.
Huh. Are there any guards looking around nervously?
There's no, there's not. There's no like disturbance over here.
He wouldn't be working a double shift. Not after what he was. Not after what he went through.
You can see that there are some drow guarding the same area that you saw before. Towards for the others, it looks like an area of the railing is damaged and broken, and it has been cordoned off. And there are some guards patrolling the cordoned off area to keep people away from the opening.
It went off.
It seems like it probably went down. Yeah.
Perhaps when it got caught in the spell?
And Ben's gonna like from right where he like felt it last, he's gonna turn around and like look back and try to see the can he see the house? Like,
yeah, you could see just like the tip of the tower that the attic is in.
And he turns around and like looks down, and then he like looks back at the house and like looks around. He's like, it
must have fell down there.
It went down. It went down.
If you keep
So does that mean it might have broke the distance? You know, like do you think that's like over 1,000 feet?
Yeah. For sure. I guess. Well, how tall are you? Like Ben, you can see he's like trying to. He doesn't have a Sherlock Holmes mind palace that he can go into and do some advanced trigonometry.
Valen's sort of looking at it. I think Valen's like maybe decent at geometry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could Valen try to like do some quick maths?
Yeah. What are you trying to figure out?
Like looking at the attic window, and looking at where we're standing here. What's like a reasonable like radius below us to search for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe I can help
Using
give you
projectile
advantage
motion.
by like. No, I'm in no state to help. Never mind.
No. Okay.
I think Kara would reach out and hold Rowan's hand.
Yeah, and Rowan squeezes it almost too tight.
So what I'm going to get you to do is to do an Arcana, because the major thing you have to figure out is how a fired crossbow bolt, which gets intercepted by a featherfall spell, how that affects its trajectory.
Oh.
That's fun.
at the bottom of the shaft, like down in the queens, I guess, is like the bottom layer just, is it like a grate, or does it just like if you miss your last stop, you go into the volcano?
It's you know, it's thins the herd. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
No, so the Queens has a
Kind of
similar
like Queen's Justice.
kind of like underground. So you can land in the Queens, or you can go slightly down below, which is kind of like where all of the houses, a lot of the smaller houses are actually under that layer. And that would meet with ground down there, not just scalding hot lava, in case people fall asleep in the, in the transit.
Right.
Okay, so there is like a hard bottom of the.
There is a hard bottom, yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to say shaft because I saw Mitchell.
I know, I said it earlier. I just
Just
set him off.
don't know what you're talking about.
I got a 17 Arcana.
17, okay. So I think looking, and based on the fact that Ben can't sense it, you know that it has gone down at least one level. Seeing the trajectory that it would have taken, the Featherfall spell would have caught it and slowed it from its crossbow firing speed down to like 60 feet a second.
Right.
And you know that it will stay at that speed until it lands on the ground. So it started moving significantly slower. But if it had continued going straight, it would have just gone right into a wall. So it seems like it has maybe done some ricocheting.
I point out like my best guess as to where it might have ricocheted towards.
So yeah, you know it is not in the jungle.
I don't have a good enough picture of what we're looking at or like the map to make any guesses. So I'm.
Yeah, it's not something that you're never ever, no matter how high that check was, you were not going to be like, it's here.
No, but like you saying it's not in the jungles, does that mean we look at the level below that, or?
It must be below. So yeah, you are in the ashes. Then the jungle is right under you. Is the next ring down?
Yeah.
If it had gone straight down from there, Ben would be able to sense it, but he can't. So it must be in the trades or below.
So this spell, is it one of those spells that when you're back in range, you'll see it again? Or is it just like it's lost, that's it?
To answer that question, Ben jumps off the...
No,
Yeah, and you see like a flash of magic as he casts Locate Object.
Okay, Rowan sees that and he'll turn, okay, I need to do this. And Ben...
All
Ben's
right,
coming
fine.
too, but you guys don't have to. I know you've, and I'll look at Star, and I'll look at Bri, and like, okay, well, there's a lot of questions there, but I feel like maybe you've got things you need to do too. So no pressure here. Okay, it's just I've got to do this.
Seems a reasonable way to see the city. And Valen hops off.
Yeah, and Vela, I'll give you this. I think you know that with the speed of the Featherfall, wherever this crossbow bolt leaves the shaft, it won't be able to go very far.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be close to this edge somewhere.
Right.
I think as they jump over, Star like pokes his head over with Bri and is just like, "We'll see you later. Meet up at Danny's."
Yeah,
What
Rowan give a
time was
thumbs
that,
up.
by the way?
2 p.m.
See you there.
Kara will go with Rowan.
Looking at that map, if it ricocheted, if there's a good chance that arrow's at Danny's right now.
Oh, what's the link to those maps again? I could not.
Oh, sure.
I didn't bookmark
Here, I got it here. I got it right here. I got it right here for you.
And we'll post they'll just be on Twitter. Check our Twitter account at Wonder and Blunder for more information on the maps.
Can you put a reminder in the Wonders and Blunders calendar for me to do that? Because that's going to be a year from now, and I will not remember you
You're just
said
gonna have
that.
to listen to this episode the week it comes out and go from
You'll
I'll
let me
put
know, right?
I'll make a reminder.
It ended up being 2 years and 3 months later. I don't think we have Twitter anymore, but I'll remind Evan anyway. Check our Instagram.
So, did Ben point out where the entrance to the night market is?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Well, I guess we can just go look.
Follow the same clues we did the first time.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Bri just puts her nose to the ground like a bloodhound and starts sniffing around.
Like, can I roll like a drunk check to like just really focus all of my thoughts to try and remember where the entrance was, because we must have exited.
Yeah, okay. So I guess maybe we should break out again.
But yeah, you got to roll to see if you had a brownout or a blackout.
Yeah.
Right? Like, are those memories in there or are they gone?
So yeah, you can do. I guess I think memory stuff is like intelligence.
Okay. Just flat. Okay.
Yeah.
I already made this check during my flashback. and failed it terribly.
To remember how to get
I
in.
thought.
Right, yeah.
I got a 7.
7? Yeah, no idea. You remember,
I think I
like,
rolled a 6 on this.
you kind of came out, Yuri was leading the way, and I think that's the biggest problem, is he was just, like, in as much of a state as you and just kind of on autopilot for how to get out.
Right.
Yeah.
Star, I think you would have remembered that like Bri was like trying to playfully pick a fight with you.
Right.
At this point, you had been kind of like escorted out of the bar because Bri was like play fighting
Too
with people,
rowdy.
not realizing how big she is.
Like too rowdy. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. like-
Yeah. I only remember trying to make you not fight. Okay. Well, all right. At very least, we know that the entrance is probably somewhere along the outside of the night market, right? We do know that. So let's just look around. Maybe someone will recognize us. But other than that, I'll just keep my eyes peeled for some markings, maybe, and then
Ben
yeah.
said he took Griffin to night market.
No, he said he took a griffin home. There's a cab.
If we ask Griffin, would it just take us there?
No, I don't. That's not how it works.
Oh.
Sorry. Good idea, though. I appreciate the contribution.
Yeah, and Bri just goes back to like sniffing around and trying to follow the familiar scents now that she knows what's cooked down there.
And I want to look for like we know that the entrance is somewhere on the outskirts. We learned that from the orc.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to look for like thieves' cant, like to see if there's any markings that would help point us in the right direction.
Okay, cool. So you can roll like maybe Bri like survival and Star could do perception or investigation.
I got a 14 on my investigation.
Okay.
And with my advantage, I got a 14 on my survival.
Okay. Bri, you are following sewer grates. And from grate to grate, you're starting to get more stronger and stronger scents as you head in one direction. And as you're heading that way, I think Star, you don't find any like thieves' cant that says anything about like where the night market is, but you have been noticing, and you've seen this before, that a lot of the stores are marked with thieves' cant. So I think the thing that you notice is that when you make it back to that big central tent where the mean people told you to go away, there is a suspicious lack of thieves' cant around here. There are no markings, which in an area like that would signal to you that anyone who would be marking buildings with thieves' cant would have such a familiarity with this place that it wouldn't be necessary. There's like an assumed knowledge around no thieves' cant in an area.
I'm gonna maybe circle around the big tent, see if there's like an extra entrance or like a back entrance, something like that.
So making your way around the outside of the tent, there's definitely no other way in. It's just the big, but it is a tent. Like you could just go under the flaps.
I'm gonna lift up one of the flaps and just like look under.
Yeah. Okay. So just roll stealth.
Okay. Also bad, but luckily my stealth is good. So 20, not natural.
Nice. Okay. So you lift up and you see that there are two people talking to each other on the other side of this tent. And you can hear kind of like a groaning and grumbling. And through there, you can see two people close the big front entrance to the tent. And as they do, you hear like a scraping sound. As like something in the ground on the other side of this stall that you're looking into starts to open up. And you can see that there's a small line of like 4 ragged looking thieves who are like rubbing their heads, and as the stone starts to scrape against stone, they are just like covering their heads and groaning. And the mean drow who talked to you last time is there and is like, all right, you rowdy ruggins, get down there, do what you need to do, get out of my sight. And they disappear out of sight on the other side of the stall.
Okay. Yeah, so it's going to drop the flap and it's going to stand up and look at Bri and be like, I think that's definitely the entrance in there.
Okay, it definitely smells like entrance.
Maybe we should just go try and talk to the drow again? Maybe she'll just recognize us. We did come out last night.
We are pretty noticeable.
That's true.
Does not hurt to try.
Yeah.
I mean, it might hurt to try, but it will most likely hurt them.
Yeah, good point. So yeah, wheel around to the front and go into the entrance.
Yeah, so they are just starting to open up the tent flaps again as you walk in. And they definitely recognize you. Immediately you can see 3 people as you come in are just like, oh, look who's back. Well.
Yeah.
And the drow is standing there in the middle of the room, and she crosses her arms and is looking at you, and she just says, well, I was wrong about you. You two are all right. You gave old Barrels there. You gave him what for? And you look over, and there is a still almost unconscious orc in a chair, just face all swollen and bruised. There's a bite mark in his arm, and he just kind of looks up and then hey, and gives you a thumbs up, a happy thumbs
Hey, Barrels.
up.
How you doing? You okay? We didn't go too hard on you, hey?
Oh no, just hard enough.
Am I right?
Yeah, you got old Barrels good.
So, mind if we pop back down?
Oh yeah, of course. Here, and then nods again, and they kind of close the flaps on the front, and it's like, oh, you had quite a night last night.
Yeah, Star looks
something.
down at how dirty he is, just yeah, the Wolverines on the jungles are for real.
Oh, tell me about it. the burrows. Oh my God, yeah, that's not a place you want to get into.
They got my boot.
They
and
got
he
your
holds
boot?
up the boot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do that. I think there's drool and stuff pouring out of the boot too, and she says, well, yeah, I suppose you'll be in the queue down there. If you maybe you left some things behind, it's pretty common. Yeah. Well, yeah. Enjoy the line. I'll send a cup of coffee down for you.
Aw, that's sweet.
Thank you.
Hey, that's your prize for beating Barrels. The door, so in the ground, completely invisible. But as you are watching, a seam forms in the middle of the floor, and now as you're looking at this, you can see that the stands around here seem purposely distracting. Your eye is drawn around the edges of the tent, looking at all of these stands that have all these colorful exotic things in them. And now looking down at the floor, you can see that this sort of seam has formed, and a trapdoor is opening as bricks pile onto more bricks and form into a staircase that leads downwards.
Cool.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Wonders and Blunders. Ben was played by Mitchell Bradbury. Bri was played by Kieran Dyke. Kara was played by Kate Clark. Rowan was played by Andy Woolridge. Star was played by Robert. And Valen was played by Evan Walsh. The world of Fadoon was created by your dungeon mom, Mike Farty, and exists in the D&D 5e universe published by Wizards of the Coast. Episodes of Wonders and Blunders are edited by TV's Adam Clark. Thank you, Adam. We're an independent podcast supported by you, the listener, but we may take on the occasional ad to help cover our operating costs. If you'd like to support the show directly and monetarily, and get access to ad-free episodes and bonus content, head over to patreon.com/wonderandblunder. If you'd like to support the show, but can't spare the cash, that's totally fine. Follow us on social media at Wonder and Blunder, and be sure to rate the show 5 stars on your podcatcher of choice. Thank you for following us on this fantastic journey, and as always, keep being the best. We love you very much, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.